Roofman has returned to rob again.
Jeffrey Manchester robbed 45 McDonald's.
Holes cut into the roofs, workers told to get into the cooler, but no one was hurt.
He gave you his coat. Yeah, you didn't want me to be cold.
Let's roll sound.
Sentenced to 45 years in prison. Jeff's genius and his affinity for making bad decisions are what led him to break out of prison.
Bond is a safe place to hide.
Of all the places he hid inside a Toys R Us for 6 months.
He falls for me, and the last thing you think is that the person that you're dating is an escaped convict.
What the?
He was talented and smart and just made some bad decisions.
I had finished my previous film, and I felt like I had finished saying what I needed to say about certain things, and I wanted to have some fun making a movie. I really wanted to find something that was like the kind of movies that I grew up loving.
ROOFMAN was a project that was originally shared with me as an idea, and when I heard about it, I said instantly, this is going to be something that Derek is going to love.
It's impossible to put it into any one genre. It is a crime movie, it is a love story, it is a comedy, and it sort of like flows in and out of these different genres as the movie unfolds.
Good morning, team. No, don't be scared.
I was very intrigued by this guy who had robbed 45 McDonald's and that had broken out of prison and lived in this Toys R Us for 6 months and then started going to a local church, and I thought to myself, well, that sounds like a fun movie and exactly kind of what I wanted to make movies about.
This is the part of the story where I hope you're wondering how a nice guy like me ends up becoming a criminal.
But I didn't know what was there. I didn't know if there was a story there or not, so I asked if I could speak with Jeffrey Manchester, who's in a maximum security prison in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Hi, Daddy. I really missed you.
Miss you too. Miss you a lot.
There was no way for me to call him, so I just had to get my number to him through some people, and eventually one day I got a phone call from Jeff.
Yes, who am I speaking with?
The phone call lasted 15 minutes, and I was very intrigued by his story, so he started calling me like about 4 times a week for the next 4 years.
Once he talked to Jeffrey Manchester, it was just an idea he couldn't shake.
Are you serious? It's cold. Dang it. I don't know what kind of jerk doesn't bring his own coat to work.
And he worked tirelessly and talked to Jeff hours and hours and worked with his co-writer, Kurt Gunn.
Derek and I have been talking about doing a project together for over a decade and, trying to find the right project to work on. And Derek made me aware of the true story of the Roofman and sent some articles to me. And then I did one phone call with Jeff Manchester from prison and kind of fell in love with the idea of doing the story. And it was just an amazing opportunity to finally work together.
Manchester, who was serving 45 years for armed robbery and kidnapping, was missing this afternoon during a routine head count. Correction officers.
I approached this movie as an investigator, basically, but I will say that I don't really know what truth is. I think truth is very subjective, and I know when I speak to Jeff Manchester, his truth is his own.
I didn't blame her for laughing at me, for thinking I was a joke. But there were things that she didn't know about me, things that weren't so funny.
This was a complicated, flawed, lovable, amazingly quirky person, and we just wanted to represent the complexity of the character.
It's such a fascinating story. I'm a huge fan of the old Hal Ashby movies, which were both hilarious and heartbreaking.
Let me tell you something. Good criminals are cold, calculated. You understand? Now, you got the calculation down, but man, you just goofy.
About 2 years into talking to Jeff, I realized that I needed to kind of expand my perspective on what this movie was. I asked Jeff, I said, if I'm gonna tell this movie properly, I have to talk to the other people in your life. And so he put me in touch with as many people as he could put me in touch with, his mother, his brother. But then there was people from the real story that we went out and found too. There was the pastor of the church, Ron Smith. There was his girlfriend, Lee Wainscott. We found Sergeant Catherine Scheimreif, who led the task force that arrested Jeff after his escape. It became just a giant investigative process for me. And I think what I was mostly interested in was the emotional truths of this story. And I think one of the reasons why I approached those people that were in his life is that I wanted them to be a part of this storytelling.
I never knew there was an intelligence unit here in Charlotte.
Oh, are you law enforcement?
I'm retired now, but I was.
Wow, that's amazing.
One of the things that was so thrilling to me was to take all these people from Jeff's life who thought a certain way of him and bring them into the narrative collaboration of telling his story.
You're not normal, John, but
I like you.
Yeah, it's not normal.
You just look like this all the time?
I was in the middle of writing the story, and there was a few actors I was thinking of for Jeff, and I set up a meeting with Channing, and we walked around Prospect Park for about 4 hours.
We legitimately took a maybe 4.5 to 5 hour walk, and we just walked and talked, and that was the end of the meeting, and we didn't talk about anything actually to do.
I didn't pitch him the story then. I didn't tell him anything about Jeffrey Manchester. I just went back to writing after I met with him, and I spent another year on the script thinking of every word that would come out of Jeff's mouth was gonna be Channing.
I thought this was a singles brunch, not a supermodel brunch. I didn't know what was gonna come out of like the talk, and like 6 to 9 months later, I hear from him again. He's like, hey, so I wrote this thing, and I wrote it for you. And it's a thing I've been thinking about. It's a story that I've been tracking, and like, I wrote this thing for you. I hope you like it and want to do it. And I read it, and that's how it started.
initially reading the script, I thought, what a great role for Channing. He's never done anything like this before. And I think that he really went to places that he hasn't done before in a film.
We can make almost anything that we want with this thing. Look, anything that you can dream, we can make it, okay? Me and you. What do you say?
Can you make a bike with it?
What Channing really brings to it is this sad clown. And I think that's what I realized about Jeff as this grown man who was hiding behind the walls of a Toys R Us toy store and playing with remote control cars at night and just kind of dreaming about having a family and dreaming about having kids that he could share these fun times with. It just made so much sense that it was Channing.
No, I mean, and really like Christmas and birthdays, and just gift-giving time. I mean, I don't know, I just love kids.
For Derek, Channing was absolutely it. The character has to have such a big heart, and you have to feel that in the actor, because this character does really dark things, and you still have to love him through that.
He has such a grace to him, and I find that he's an open-hearted person. He's very just right there. There's nothing more you want from an actor than to have all those qualities. And funny, too.
You're gay, right?
What? I'm what?
You're gay.
Gay? No. What? Are you kidding right now?
I grew up watching Kirsten Dunst, and when I met the real Lee, and Lee had this kind of grace and this heart and this humor, you know, the first person that came to mind was Kirsten. And so I reached out to her, sent her the script, and she wrote back and she said, "Oh my God, I love this."
The script was something that I thought was really enjoyable and well written and not a role that I would normally play. So it was something different for me, and working with Derek was really the draw for me.
Kirsten, man, like, it seems effortless. Like, she's just so good. Like, she's just so good.
Kirsten has depth for days. The second she got in front of camera and did her first scene, we were just blown away. She just brought this softness and playfulness, but really with the strength.
This is our all-star, Lee. She is the backbone of everything that is good going on in this church. She does the outreach, does the meals, does the toy drive. I really don't know how she does it all, but she does. And this is John Zorin from New York.
I told Channing early on, I was like, I'm interested in your translation of Jeff. We're not creating a historical figure where you have to exactly look like him or talk like him. I want you to make the version that's most honest to you, most truthful to you, your version of Jeff.
Derek's talked to Jeff so much more than I have, but I've talked to Jeff as well. And I wanted to get to meet Jeff before I did the film, but there was no time to really go down and meet him. I'm gonna meet Jeff. I have to meet him at some point, but I think it's really oddly beautiful that I almost didn't meet him in some strange way, because when you look back on history or whatever, you see it through a different lens. You see it through how maybe you wanted to see it, or how you maybe need to see it in a way. And I think that, for better or worse, this movie is a true story told by someone that is unbelievably brilliant at lying. No.
We chose to tell the movie from Jeff's perspective. When we were deciding on point of view, this isn't an omniscient point of view film. It's first person. It's from Jeff's point of view. So we are delivering the material in the movie from Jeff's perspective, because we also had so many phone calls with Jeff, and Jeff's voice was in our head. And so he, in many ways, is telling the story. A lot of the events that happened were Jeff's reality that he created. And we decided to see the movie from that perspective.
It all could have gone a different way, for sure. But it didn't. It went this way.
People ask if this is a true story, and I think ultimately, everyone has their own filter and their own observation about what happened. And what we found out is that different people had different perspectives. And we made a real conscious choice not to decide for the audience thematically how they should feel about the protagonist, about other characters, about the events.
Making true crime stories or sort of telling the stories of real people, it's complicated.
I mean, Jeffrey Manchester is serving time in prison for committing crimes that he has admitted to.
We like to say he was sort of like a gentleman as he robbed people, but he still had a gun, he still traumatized people.
Don't do this right now. Hey, what did I say?
I didn't know what the tone of the film was going to be. I didn't know what the message of the film was going to be. I didn't know what the film was going to be after I'd been talking to Jeff for a couple of years. But there was a month where I had spoke to Pastor Ron Smith and Lee Wayne Scott. And these are two people who Jeff lied to for 3-4 months of his life. And I had assumed that when I talked to them that they were going to be betrayed, that they were going to be hurt, that they were going to have some sort of bad feelings about Jeff. And I was surprised when I talked to both of them and they talked about how thankful they were to have met him.
I think about it as an adventure. We had a lot of fun.
They felt like he was this unicorn that came into their lives, and they spoke about him with such grace. And that became kind of a guiding principle for the film that I was gonna make. I was gonna make a movie about this guy who was a criminal, but who was loved and who had a lot of love inside of him. And that kind of gave me permission to tell the story in the way that I eventually, did.
I started to realize that all those people I loved didn't need me to give them so many things. They just needed me, my time. And now that's all I have. Time.